But Stephen was different. He was one of those infamous rich kids born with a silver spoon in his mouth who had never worried about money a day in his life. Irvin didn't want to tick off Stephen, but he also didn't want to break the rules, so he kept shooting desperate looks at Charlie. Charlie had noticed Irvin's signals a while ago, but he ignored them and said no. Irvin was completely helpless. All he could do was stay on the ground and groan, "Ugh," hoping Stephen wouldn't take his anger out on him again. "Look at you, you useless waste," Stephen cursed, his eyebrows knitted in anger. He tilted his head and glared at Charlie. He waved the cash in his hand. "You paid $300 for it. I'll give you $30,000. Now hand it over." The crowd gasped. All eyes were on Charlie, filled with envy. The price had jumped 100 times in a matter of seconds. That was some serious profit. Besides, anyone with half a brain could see it was just a regular rock, probably picked up from a riverbed. There were tons of stones like that lying around. Jacob was getting a little excited too. After all, if Charlie sold it, they'd make back the more than $2,000 he lost yesterday and still come out ahead. Charlie looked up, smiled at Stephen and said, "Like I said before, it's not for sale. You could offer me $300,000 and my answer would still be the same." "You!" Stephen's face twisted with anger, a dangerous glint in his eyes. With everyone watching, Charlie had just shot him down in public. It was a total embarrassment. "You punk! You're really asking for trouble, aren't you?" Stephen sneered. "Go on. Ask anyone in this vintage market. Is there anything Stephen Knox wants that he can't buy? You're selling it to me today. Whether you want to or not, you're selling it." After Stephen finished speaking, he waved his hand. His bodyguards instantly moved in, surrounding Charlie. The faces in the crowd went pale. Even Jacob was stunned. The Knox family of Orris Hill. They were a powerhouse, way bigger and more influential than Gerald's family. No wonder Stephen Knox dropped $9,000 on a fake ceramic cup. He didn't even blink. Guys like that don't care about the money, whether it's real or not. He's just buying it for the thrill of it. The bodyguards closed in on Charlie, looking menacing. Jacob was scared of confrontation. He shot Charlie a look, silently begging him to just hand the stone over to Stephen. Charlie's expression was calm. He glanced at the bodyguards surrounding him and said, "I'll say it again. It's not for sale. And if you're thinking about trying to take it by force, let me be clear. No one takes what's mine. That includes you." "What about me?" Stephen sneered, tilting his chin up arrogantly. "Let me tell you something. I'm the king around here. And you're just some nobody who's got a death wish picking a fight with me." Seeing Stephen's arrogance, the crowd, anxious, held their breath. They all thought the same thing. This guy, Charlie, was crazy to stand up to Stephen. He was going to get crushed. Charlie remained calm, a slight smile on his face. "You're in the antique business, right? Have you ever thought about the most important thing in this line of work?" Stephen asked. "And what would that be?" Charlie. "The rules, of course." He then raised his voice, speaking loud enough for everyone to hear. "The rule is first come, first served. If you go around strong-arming people, who's going to want to do business with you? When that happens, Stephen Knox, you'll be a pariah in this market. No one will touch you with a 10-foot pole." The moment the words left his mouth, Stephen froze, his face flashing with anger. It was true. There was an unwritten code in the antique world. He liked to project an image of a sophisticated collector, so he knew the rules perfectly well. If word of this got out, the shops he frequented would probably start avoiding him, afraid of alienating other customers. Stephen couldn't believe it. Charlie had backed him into a corner with just a few words. He glared at Charlie, fighting the urge to wipe that smirk off his face. But he forced himself to swallow his anger. He gritted his teeth and said, "You really think that little rock of yours makes you somebody? Let me tell you something. Antiques aren't for everyone. You're a broke nobody. You should go back to whatever hole you crawled out of and stop polluting the air here." With a dark expression, Stephen rolled up his sleeves and shoved his arm in Charlie's face. "Open your eyes and take a good look. This string of bloodstone gems cost me $1.5 million, all the way from the Sunbelt. Have you ever seen anything this beautiful?" The bracelet on Stephen's wrist was a stunning deep red, catching the sunlight and glowing. It was so beautiful that the people in the crowd couldn't help but stare. Irvin stared at the bracelet, swallowing hard. "Wow," he breathed. "That's the real deal." "Of course it is." Stephen puffed up his chest, clearly proud of the reaction he was getting. He shot Charlie a contemptuous look, then unbuttoned his collar and pulled out a crystal amulet hanging from a cord around his neck. "Now look at this. This piece was a gift for my coming-of-age party. It dates back to the Gilded Age. It was blessed by 88 high-ranking holy men who prayed over it to the Creator for 108 straight days. It's worth $3 million. Hearing the incredible story and value of this crystal amulet, the crowd pushed forward, craning their necks to get a better look. Irvin was practically hyperventilating with excitement. His eyes were glued to the amulet, his expression pure greed, as if he wanted to snatch it and swallow it whole. Stephen held the amulet out and sneered at Charlie. "The rich collect art, the poor collect dust. You're a peasant who can't even afford decent clothes, and you think you can play in the world of antiques? It's pathetic, really." His tone was dripping with irony. The people in the crowd glanced at Charlie. He really didn't look like he came from money. He was wearing a plain white t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers, like any other young working guy. Stephen's outfit, on the other hand, looked simple at first glance. But anyone with a trained eye could see that his clothes were all custom, handmade pieces. From head to toe, he was wearing at least 6 figures worth of apparel. Charlie watched Stephen's smug display and found the guy incredibly amusing. He wasn't a bad person, just a short-sighted, spoiled rich kid. So Charlie looked at him and asked with a smile, "You're a rich guy, huh? That bracelet looks really nice, I'll give you that. But it's a fake." Stephen was stunned for a second, then he roared, "You're talking nonsense! There's no way this bracelet is fake. If you don't believe me, go ask any of the antique shop owners around here," Charlie said with a shrug. It's one thing to have money to throw around on antiques, but you also have to know what you're doing. When a clueless person tries to act like an expert, everyone else just sees them as an easy target, nothing more. Stephen was furious. Hearing Charlie mock his intelligence was the last straw. He snapped, "If this bracelet is genuine, you get down on your knees and admit you're wrong to me, right here on the spot. How about that?" "Okay," Charlie agreed, his attitude completely relaxed. Mistaking artificial bloodstone for a real bloodstone gem? I have to say, you've really got a knack for this. Stephen's face flushed at the insult. He spun around to face the crowd that had gathered. "Jones and Grant, you two are going to appraise this bracelet for me and tell me if it's real or not." The two men looked at each other, clearly embarrassed. Appraising antiques, especially calling something a fake, was a touchy subject. It was a good way to make enemies and lose business. "Stephen, our expertise is a bit limited. We can't really say for sure." Stephen's voice was sharp with anger. "Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Just give me a proper appraisal. I won't cause any trouble for you, whether it's real or not. But if you try to mess with me, I'll get a second opinion later, and if I find out you lied, you'll regret it." "Please, don't be angry, Stephen," the two men said, stepping forward, clearly rattled. Nobody who did business in the vintage market dared to cross Stephen Knox. So the two antique shop owners had no choice but to bite the bullet and examine the bloodstone gem. A few minutes later, one of the owners gave a nervous, dry smile. "Stephen, that young man was right. Your bracelet. Spit it out," Stephen sneered. The owner, terrified, blurted out, "Your bracelet. It's made of artificial bloodstone." As soon as the words were out, Stephen's face went from pale to beet red, as if he'd just been slapped in front of everyone. He swallowed hard, trying to contain his rage. The two shop owners were so scared that they immediately retreated back into the crowd, hoping to disappear. Charlie smiled. "So, do you believe me now?" Spending $1.5 million on a bunch of artificial stones. Stephen Knox, you really are a rich man. "You got me this time," Stephen said. "So what if it's $1.5 million? You think I care about that money? Even if the bracelet is fake, my crystal amulet is absolutely real, 100% genuine." When it came to this amulet, Stephen was 100% confident. He had, after all, hired an expert to appraise it. This was a genuine deal, dating all the way back to the Gilded Age. Charlie snorted. "Wearing something that's cursed like it's a prized possession? You've got to be the biggest fool in the world." Stephen roared, a vein throbbing on his forehead. "What are you talking about? That's insane!" Charlie said calmly. "You're wearing something that dangerous right against your skin. You're lucky you aren't dead already." Stephen's expression was grim, but after what happened with the bracelet, he wasn't so sure if Charlie was bluffing. He stared at him and demanded, "What makes you say that?" Charlie said, "Look at the shape of this amulet. When you got it, did you even bother to research what crystal pieces with this specific shape were used for?" Stephen yelled, a bit of his confidence returning. "The shape represents good fortune, and anyone who deals in crystals knows that. I know a lot more about this than some broke loser like you. You don't know a thing."
Hey amazing viewers, it's Charlie here. Thanks for sticking with us. By the time of the release of this video, only 11% of our viewers have joined the party by subscribing, and 89% of you might miss out on our next mind-blowing video. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join the exclusive club.